I hit the jackpot with my scratch ticket. I finally got lucky and I won a lot of money. So the first thing I did with this money was I bought myself a property out in the country in preparation for the end times. Let me give you a little tour. Well, one of the most important things you can have at your end times hideaway is a vegetable patch. I got me some tomatoes and lettuce and beans and spinach and all kinds of things in here. As a matter of fact, I'm particularly fond of zucchinis. They're very versatile, you know. Now, I was real fortunate to find this property because the people who lived here before me, well, they must have been preparing for the end times too, because they planted an awful lot of fruit trees. So I got apple and crab apple and plum and I got some bushes too, like the blueberry bushes behind me. The Bible says, man cannot live by bread alone, or vegetables or fruits for that matter. And that's why I got me this little pond over here, and I'm going to grow some fish in it. And if that doesn't work out, well, if frogs are good enough for the French, they're good enough for me. Now, when the apocalypse comes, there's going to be a breakdown in society. And you're not going to be able to just march on down to the pharmacy and buy your medication. You're going to have to make your own. Well, that's what the plants are for. They all got medicinal properties, so I bought a lot of them. I don't know exactly what properties, but when the time comes, I'll figure it out. Now, having a big property like this ain't gonna do you a bit of good in the end times if you don't have a source of firewood. The barn's empty for the moment, but I'm gonna get me some chickens and maybe a cow or two, and maybe some sheep too, so I can make my own wool. Well, I reckon that some of you are probably thinking, Flo, looks like you got your work cut out for you. Now, that may be true. Now, surviving the end times is a lot of work, and you're going to have to get your hands dirty if you want to make it through. Well, some of you gals may be thinking, good Lord, Flo, with a property like that, you're going to have a lot of grass to cut. Now, I'll tell you something. A lawn tractor ain't nothing to be intimidated by. It's just like driving a vacuum cleaner. Well, any gal can do it, so don't let that discourage you. Now, one of the most important things if you want to survive the end times is you got to have yourself a weapon. Because when society starts to break down, it's going to be every man for himself. So, what I got here is, I got myself a couple of slingshots since I don't have to register them with the government. And up here, I got my bow and arrow collection. Not quite as effective as a gun, but at least nobody has to know that you got one. Now, having all those fruits and vegetables and fish and chickens and all that's not going to do you a bit of good if you ain't got nowhere to store them. So, everybody who wants to survive Armageddon needs to have a secret storage facility, preferably underground. Like I said, I just moved here a little while ago, but I started stocking up immediately. And what you're going to need is some jars of preserves. My grandmother made these. They're still good, mind you. Gave them to me when she died. I never had much use for them until now. Also, besides preserved food, I recommend that you get yourself a good little wine cellar going for the lonely days. And also maybe to use when you have some company or whatnot. And of course, you need to stock up on cigarettes. What you could use, even if you're not a smoker, you can use those to barter, especially when those ruffians show up at your house. And if the bow and arrow don't work, you may be able to just send them off on their way with a few packs of cigarettes. And of course, I got myself some scratch tickets, just in case I get lucky, but I already started scratching them, so I'm going to have to get more. But that's what you need to do. You get all your stuff, and you preserve it so it's not perishable, and you keep it down in the root cellar. Now, the cellar is also a good place for hiding coins, because you're going to need a lot of coins in the end times, because there ain't going to be no more banks nor money. So, you need to get yourself some silver coins, and just to be on the safe side, you might want to have yourself some gold, too, just in case the stuff about the Anunnaki turns out to be true, and they're after gold after all. So I just recommend that you get yourself some coins and put them in a safe place, such as in this wall behind me. Well, that just about concludes my tour. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking. You may be thinking, Flo, what are you so worried about surviving the end times for if you're going to get raptured anyway? Well, as a matter of fact, there's a lot of controversy about the rapture. Is it going to be pre-trib or mid-trib or post-trib, or Lord knows when it's going to happen. So I just figure, better safe than sorry, forewarned is forearmed, better late than never. A pound of prevention is worth an ounce of cure, and an ounce of cure is worth a pound of prevention. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. And better late than never, and a stitch in time saves 9, as the Bible says. So, I was, as a matter of fact, pretty sure that the rapture, or the tribulation anyway, was going to happen in 2012, and the world was going to end. A lot of people talking about that. I've seen it in a movie. But it turns out that the Mayans had a cyclical view of time, not a linear one, so there goes that theory out the window. I read it in a book. So, I figure it's just better to be prepared just in case. You get yourself self-sufficient, and if it comes down to it and you're faced with taking a mark of the beast in your right hand or a bullet in your head, at least if you have another option to go out in the country and be self-sufficient, maybe you can just avoid the whole thing and wait for the Lord to come back. So now, if you don't make preparations, who knows what's going to happen? You're going to have the devil and all his minions coming after you. Don't come crying to me if that happens. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I almost forgot. The most important thing you're going to need in the end times is faith. Because no matter what happens, you got to have faith in the Lord's going to get you through.